May nakikita kasi ako ngayon, since I posted videos and Facebook posts, debunking fake gurus and masters, maraming lumalapit sa akin na ganito si ano, kinausap siya nung master niya, mag-sex daw sila para daw ma-activate yung mga chakras niya. Hindi yun ganun. So, wag na wag magpapaloko sa mga fake teachers. Once may nag-message sa'yo na you'll have sex so that you will become enlightened, run. Right? Screenshot, magsumbong sa pulis. Ganon lang. Hello everyone, Namaste. My name is Frater Joseph. I am a priest from the Catholic Universalist Church. At the same time, I'm also the founder of the Ecumenical Gnostic Order. Now, I just want to give some clarifications about common misconceptions about enlightenment. At ito mga misconceptions na ito, ginagamit ito ng mga fake gurus, mga fake masters for them to get more money or to get more loyalty from their clients or their students, or to get sexual favors from their students. All right. So, number one is ito yung marketing strategy nila. They would show it to their students or to their clients that enlightenment, the state of enlightenment will give you eternal bliss and happiness. Yun bang tipong once you become enlightened, all your problems will disappear. Right? So that's just not true. Because before enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood, carry water. That's a very old Buddhist saying. So meaning, enlightenment will not solve all your problems. But what happens during enlightenment? Now, this really cannot be explained through words because words are inadequate to express the experience of enlightenment. It is actually self-realization. It is more about, being one with your higher self and also being one with everything and everyone. And once your awareness expands not just to yourself but to everything and everyone, you will start to feel the pain and suffering of the people around you. That's why the real masters, the authentic ones, their eyes are very compassionate. Why? Because they feel the pain of the people around them. And once you are still in that body, you will still have your day-to-day tasks. You will still have your day-to-day mundane experiences. But what's the difference is that your awareness is totally different from when you were still not in that state of enlightenment. So ano yon? The Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, sinabi ni Prince Siddhartha Gautama, life is full of suffering. Number 2, the origin of suffering is attachment. Number 3, there is a way out of suffering. Number 4, the way out of suffering is the Eightfold Path. Now, suffering. Hindi sinabi ni Prince Siddhartha na all your pain will go away. However, there is a way to stop suffering. What is suffering and what is pain? These are two different things. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. For example, may dalawang tao. Hindi sila kumain for 3 days. One person is a monk. This monk, nagfasting siya because he knows that after 3 days, he will, strengthen his spirituality by fasting. Alright? It's for, his connection with that divine light within him or her. That's why he did the fasting. Now, the other person, hindi siya kumain for 3 days kasi nawalan siya ng trabaho. Wala na siyang pera, wala siyang pambayad sa apartment niya, wala din siyang pambili ng pagkain. So, for 3 days, hindi siya nakakain. My question is, sino dun sa dalawa ang nagsuffer? Yung monk o yung taong nawala ng trabaho? Hindi ba yung taong nawalan ng trabaho? Kasi nga, he is in pain but he's also suffering. The monk, he's in pain kasi hindi nga siya kumain. However, hindi siya nagsuffer. It's because suffering is in the mind. You can feel pain without feeling suffering. You can be in pain without suffering. Yun. So, the state of enlightenment gives you or brings you in that state of awareness whereby you will be able to negate or let's say cease, totally remove suffering. However, you will still feel pain. Right? So, hindi yun totoo na when you become enlightened, all your problems will suddenly go away. That's just pure BS. As long as you are in the body, you will have problems. You will have your day-to-day mundane tasks. You will have your day-to-day mundane life. However, you will be in a different state of awareness. Alright. Now, next, number 2. Ito din yung ibang teachings ng mga fake gurus, ha? Especially the gurus that are in their early 20s. Kundalini awakening or Kundalini yoga. Ito pala natin sinasabi nila, you need to awaken your Kundalini energy so that you become enlightened. Now, is that true? Well, it's actually just 50% true. Why? Because for different spiritual organizations or for different the spiritual sect, no, especially in India, one, the Kashmir Shaivites, most of them, they believe that you need to awaken your Kundalini energy first before you become enlightened. However, that's not an easy task. And the master or the teacher should be in his around maybe 50s or 60s in order to be able to fully teach that. And you need to be prepared in awakening the Kundalini energy because it is a very powerful yoga. It is a very powerful spiritual technique. Kaya nga, hindi ka basta-basta lang gagaya ng mga meditation techniques or awakening, Kundalini awakening techniques that you found on the internet because you need to have a guide that is, on a decent age, na hindi bata, and you also need to, mostly kasi sa nag-undergo ng Kundalini awakening, they need to be a renunciate because once kasi the Kundalini is awakened in an abrupt manner, it might destroy your social life, especially if you are married or if you still live with your family. That's why diba the monks, they renounce their families, they renounce the world and focus on their awakening. So yun, it's not easy because aside from that, we have different spiritual age. We have different soul age. Also, we have different karmas. So the awakening of each individual chakra in our body is different. Alright? So, yun yung belief ng Kashmir Shaivites. You need to awaken the Kundalini energy first before you become enlightened. However, on the Advaita Vedanta, it's different. Hindi necessary ang Kundalini awakening kasi nga iba-iba ang soul age natin and iba-iba ang activation or iba-iba din ang effects ng activation ng each chakra natin. So the Vedantists or those who are practicing Vedanta, they also believe that once you become enlightened or awakened, all the chakras will be activated and the Kundalini energy will be activated as well. So you don't bother on activating each and individual chakra, but you just focus on your enlightenment, focus on your meditation, on your sadhanas. Now, ito kasi ang nangyayari. These two belief systems, up until now, the sages are still on a debate on this. But, we will not dwell much more on that because enlightenment is an experience. So we need to experience it. Now, for me, I am more inclined to believe on the Advaita Vedanta side, whereby Kundalini awakening is not necessary because once you become illumined or enlightened, once you're in that state of enlightenment or awakening, the Kundalini energy will automatically be activated. It's because um, a Kundalini yoga. Each yoga kasi or each spiritual practice, kailangan mo yang ibagay sa lifestyle mo, sa current state of being mo. Um, any powerful spiritual technique can be destructive. Powerful spiritual technique, Kundalini yoga, pwede mo yang i-practice. However, it is something that is not beneficial to you if you are not prepared for it. For example, what if you are a high school student? You are not, let's say, on the first section, but you're also not in the last section. Maybe you're just in the middle section, middle class na high school student. But suddenly, for some reason, you became the president of the Philippines. Is it a good thing? Yes, it is a good thing. You became the president of the Philippines. But will it be beneficial to you? No. It might be as well destructive to you because you are not prepared or ready to receive that. Now, this is very important to understand because marami ngayon na mga master kuno na nagtuturo-turo ng Kundalini Awakening sa mga students nila, where in fact, yung ginagawa lang talaga nila is pineperahan lang nila. And they justify na, oh, iba-iba kasi yung awakening ng each chakra natin. So, you go on for 10, 20, 100 sessions in that master or guru to align your chakra, to cleanse your chakra and whatnot. That's just pure BS, all right? Because when you are doing Kundalini Awakening, as much as possible, you need to be a renunciate. You need to be really a monk living in a temple. And you need to be focusing on your Kundalini awakening alone. And if you are talking to a master in his 20s, that's not a master. Because in India, around 50s, 60s, ganun yung mga illumined masters na nagtuturo ng Kundalini Awakening because it is a very powerful yoga at hindi yun binabasta-basta lang. Alright? And aside from that, the Kundalini Awakening kasi, it has a different effect, no? It might affect your social life. It will destroy your social life if awakened abruptly. All right, that's why if you are a householder, if you are married, or let's say if you're still in school, or you are in the corporate world, there is a different yoga for you. There is a more let's say subtle or slow way of awakening your kundalini, or let's say slow way of attaining, let's say, enlightenment, so that you will evolve and progress the natural way. Yung hindi mo pinipilit, yung you just practice the sadhanas, you practice your spirituality in a way na you will be evolving in a gradual manner. Hindi yung parang ganun. Kasi pag ginanon yun, masisira ang social life mo. Let's say, for example, when I was still new in the path, I didn't have any guide, any teacher or whatnot. So, kahit anong meditation makita ko, ma-learn ko, ginagawa ko lahat, ginagawa ko. To some point na I tried to, I tried opening my chakras, and to the extent that I was working, and instead of doing this specific spiritual practice for just, let's say, once a day, I did it for like twice a day, and there are practices that needs to be done at least once a week or once a month. I did it almost every day or every other day. So parang I stressed myself so much on awakening chakras. Now, I came to a point wherein I became, let's say, highly sensitive to energy. This is based on my experience. So if I'm sharing this to you, and if you didn't have this experience, that doesn't mean that you are not having any progress in your spirituality. No, everyone has a different soul age and different process of awakening. So this is my experience. So I hope you don't get discouraged if you don't have these experiences. Now, I suddenly became sensitive to energy, whereby I can just sense the energies of the people around me, and sometimes I suddenly become happy, and there are also times where I just suddenly cry without any reason at all. One time at work, I was working, I was doing my spreadsheets. Suddenly, I cried, and later that day, a friend of mine told me that his wife left him, and he is very sad pala on that day. And that person is sitting next beside me, bali in front of me, in front of my station. So you see, that's the effect. That what if you are not that resilient to emotions, right? Also, I am married, I have a kid, I have a wife, and there's also this experience I had. Now this is, I think, on the uh, awakening of the third eye chakra, whereby um, I just felt that parang wala na akong uh, ganang mabuhay sa mundo. Hindi naman talaga walang gana na I want to kill myself, no? It's just that I just lost interest in everything. I love my wife, I love my kid. However, looking at the mundane world, parang hindi na ako grounded sa reality. It's just, I want to leave my body na because I just don't see the point of living in the world anymore, because the world is full of pain and suffering. And it's not that I want to really kill myself. I'm just thinking na if I'll be gone, maybe my wife can just, go along with my kid, and, they could live their life on their own. But for me, I wanted to ascend. I don't see the value of money anymore. Every time I go to work, I don't feel motivated because this is just an endless cycle of rat race. That was my feeling before. Kasi nga, um, I try to really open my chakras abruptly without even grounding, without even, following a specific process, without having a mentor of doing that. So it really took me time before I became grounded again back into the three-dimensional reality. So, those are just some of the experiences I had that I could say that if you want to awaken your Kundalini energy, if you are not ready for it, then it might destroy your social life. So there is a process for that. There is a slow and gradual process for that. But me, I cannot teach you that. There are spiritual teachers or mentors that can do that. But you need to first find a mentor that is on the right age. Okay? Second is you need to have the proper or appropriate preparations. Perhaps you are living in a vegetarian diet. Me, I'm not a vegetarian, so I can't do that. Also, you need to be a renunciate. Ganon talaga yon. Because if it's abrupt, then masisira yung buhay mo talaga. You are not ready for it. And then you just take it immediately. Alright? Next is this. There are so many spiritual teachers right now that instead of helping the student attain enlightenment, kumukuha lang sila ng sexual favors dun sa mga students nila. Now, these are clear manifestations of the fake gurus. Mga fake gurus talaga itong mga to. They try to justify it because they will be sharing things like sex magic or tantra. Now, explain ko lang yan dalawa, no? Tantra, the purest form of tantra in Tibet or in India, it doesn't talk about sex. Hindi yan about sex. Every time we read or hear sex, or every time we read allegories or metaphors about sex in ancient scriptures, in different spiritual traditions, those are allegories or metaphors of Father God, Mother Earth, the transcendent aspect of the divinity, the immanent aspect of the divinity, spirit, body. That is actually a metaphor or an allegory of the union of the two. And so, ancient mystics, ancient masters would write it in a way na madaling intindihin ng mga tao. And there is no other feeling, there is no other emotion, there is no other, let's say, experience that you can compare to that blissful moment of unification of heaven and earth aside from sex. That's why the references of sex in ancient scriptures are not literal. It is an allegory. All right? So, yung tantra ngayon na nagfo-focus on sex magic, okay? That's actually a new thing. That's a new age belief. That's a new age practice, to be specific. However, I totally don't discredit that because it is a modern experimentation of sexual energy, because sexual energy is a raw form of spiritual energy. So siguro no, when they did that, meron din silang basis. However, eto kasi yun. Um, these spiritual practice, you can't just, according to them, according to those who practice sex magic or tantra, you cannot just do that to anyone. You need to have a specific partner. Perhaps tinatawag ng mga New Agers ngayon yun, twin flames, or yung iba tinatawag nila their soulmate, yun. You need to have someone who have the same vibration as you, and when you have a union, say when you have sex or love making, you need to be in that meditative state. All right. And that partner of yours, you need to be in that monogamous partnership, loving monogamous relationship. Because once you unite, according to them, the energy between the two of you will flow. And your love making, your sexual, the heros gamos that you are doing, it becomes, it's not a draining process. Hindi na di-drain yung energy mo. Instead, your energy becomes amplified, the two of you. All right. So, hindi yun basta-basta na kahit sino na lang partner mo. May nakikita kasi ako ngayon. Since I posted videos and Facebook posts, debunking fake gurus and masters, maraming lumalapit sa akin na ganito si ano, kinausap siya nung master niya, mag-sex daw sila para daw ma-activate yung mga chakras niya. Hindi yun ganun. Alright? Tapos yung master na yon, kahit sino-sino na lang mini-message niya, ganon. Hindi eh. You can't just have different sexual partners. Even those people doing the modern tantra, the sexual tantra right now, the new age tantra, hindi nila ini-encourage yan. You need to have a monogamous relationship that is loving, and the two of you should be in the same vibration, because what if you have high vibration tapos yung isa low vibration, the other will suck your vibration because you need to reach in that level of homeostasis. Yung energies nyo kailangan mabalance. So also, if you have different sexual partners, now this is true, this is not new age, this is a teaching from the ancient times. If you have multiple sexual partners, you will actually create a unwritten contract with the body of that person. That is why sometimes, no, in our present relationship, if we haven't done any spiritual rituals, if we haven't cut the ties that we had for our previous or past relationships, then it might affect our present moment, because it will create a distortion of our energies right now, because we have different contracts, body contracts from different people in the past. So when you are sleeping with someone, you're actually sleeping with all the people he or she was sleeping with few years ago or in her entire lifetime. That's one thing that you need to remember, because a part of that person na naka in a relationship niya before is has entered into his or her body. So that's one thing that we need to understand. All right? So wag kayong magpapaloko sa mga ganito. All right? So again, sex tantra or sex magic, hindi yun basta-basta ginagawa lang. Even those people teaching that, they really would say na kailangan talaga you are in a monogamous relationship. At the same time, you need to have in the same vibration. Kasi this is how they put it eh. Aside from being a meditation, a sex meditation, the child that you will be producing during the sexual union of two highly evolved individuals, it will become a highly energized body, no? Pag nabuntis yung babae, what they produce is a highly energized body, and according to them, it will become a vessel of an ascended master, or it will become a vessel of a highly evolved soul. Now, with that, I do not know, but that's their belief. So, putting our minds on that specific context, then you really need to have just one partner. Perhaps your wife, or your long-term girlfriend or boyfriend. Hindi yung kung sino-sino lang i-message mo sa Facebook na, hey, let's have sex, let's have tantric sex. Bullshit. That's not it. All right. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you have learned something new today. All right. So wag na wag magpapaloko sa mga fake teachers. Once may nag-message sa'yo na you'll have sex so that you will become enlightened, run. Right? Screenshot, magsumbong sa pulis. Ganon lang. Okay? So that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste.